Hi everyone, and welcome to day 26 of the July colouring challenge. We are slowly catching up, and it was the 26th yesterday, so I've got just a couple more to do and we will be where we need to be. Right, so the 26th is a fairy, so this will be really cute and fun to colour. And I thought today that we would use Posca pencils because I've not used them. I don't think I've used them in this project at all, and I've not used them for a while. But they are fabulous pencils. They are very high quality, and they're the closest pencils that I've come across with a formulation closest to Prismacolor. So of course I like them, but there's just not enough colours. That's the only thing. This is the biggest set they do, and it's a 36 set. I have reviewed it on the channel if you want to go back and have a look at that. But I wish that they would do more colours because they are fantastic. So let's zoom in on our fairy and we can choose some colours. So I was thinking of going for like a Tinkerbell look with the green dress and the iridescent wings and the blonde hair and things like that. So we can give that a go. So I think I'll just choose the colours kind of by eye. This is a creamy colour. It hasn't got a name or a number or anything on it, so I can't tell you exactly what colour it is. I think actually, now that I've said that, there was something that came with it that told you what the colours were. Is it in the back? Just check. No, there was something that came with it that told you what the colour names were, but I don't know what I've done with that. So let's just start by filling in the hair with this cream colour. So this will be our base, and then we can add a little bit more vibrancy into it afterwards. So Tinkerbell has really nice light blonde hair. It's not an ashy brown or a golden brown, a golden blonde, sorry. It's really light, and I don't think it's quite platinum, but it's very light blonde. So from what I recall, anyway. So we'll bring in a little bit of this yellow. This looks like an orangey yellow more than the true yellow, which is this one. So for the orangey yellow, I'm just going to add in a few little bits of shadow here and there. Underneath her ear and just in certain places. I think we can probably add just a little bit of that bright yellow colour. I want to add a little bit of brown in there as well if I can find a suitable colour. Let's have a look what the colour this one is. So I'm just going to swatch this. Yeah, I think that'll do. Again, I can't tell you what pencil it is. It looks a little bit umbery, this colour. I'm just going to put some on again in the shaded areas just to have a bit more contrast in the hair. And probably just try and work a few little strokes of hair in there as well. Do the sharpening this actually, just to get a bit more of a point for these hair strokes that we're doing. I don't want to go too crazy with this colour because we are looking for a pure blonde, but this just does help for those little highlighted areas, sorry, shadowed areas. And then we can probably come back in with the true yellow colour and just push that brown back a little bit, desaturate it a bit so it's not as dark. I'm going to leave that for now, but I might come back to it later. Depends. I don't feel like I'm fully finished with that hair yet. So let's do the skin. Now these Posca pencils have a peachy tone, which is how I'm going to put the base, which one I'm going to use for the base. But it also has this colour here, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of a mix between a terracotta and a henna, if we're talking Prismacolor. Maybe even a little bit of like pumpkin orange. I just want to use that as our shadow colour for this fairy. I'm taking inspiration from Tinkerbell, but not, you know, not being completely true to the colour and things. Because I'm pretty sure Tinkerbell was quite tanned actually. It's freaking me out a little bit that this girl does not have pupils in her eyes, so I'm going to have to add some of those in with a pigment liner in a minute. So I've done that really, really lightly, and I want to go over it again with the peach. Because this is a very reddish colour, and I feel like we're going to need some purple to counterbalance the red and take the heat out of it. She's looking pretty blushy at the minute. So that's the next layer. Now I've got some lilac here, which hopefully will do exactly what I just said, and it will desaturate that red a little bit and cool it down. Again, it is quite difficult to do this on such a small scale. But I'm not too bothered if the purple shows through more than I'd want it to, because a fairy is a fantasy creature, so if they have purpley skin, then so be it. Okay, so I'm feeling like I want to come in there with the cream and just go over everything really. Flatten it out a bit. So we don't have amazing coverage here purely because of the paper that I'm using and the pencils. Some pencils don't play nicely with it. We're doing what we can. And thank you to everyone who left a comment on my previous videos. It was lovely to read those last night, and I'm really glad that people are enjoying it. And I hope people do enjoy this when they watch it for years to come and they wonder why I'm talking about being late and missing episodes and things, because I hope it will still be on here years from now and people can listen back. So future viewers, hello. Okay, so I've just burnished it with a bit of cream. And we've still got some areas that are looking a little bit unblended. You know, you've got some flecks of red, some flecks of purple, and it's not looking particularly well blended, but I'm just doing the best that I can with these pencils on this paper. So let's give her some pupils because she needs them. So I'll get a skinny little 0.05 pen, which seems to have run out. So let me just find another one. Let's try this one. I feel like she must be looking down, so we'll put her pupils down there. Hopefully that'll work. Let's just put her eyebrows and features back in. So I'll just redefine the features a little bit, and we're going to give her some blue eyes like Tinkerbell, but I'm just trying to think of what I can use that's got a fine point on it enough, so I don't really want to go and get it smudged up, so I'm just going to try and very carefully put a little bit of blue here. We haven't got a lot of room to work with, and it might be that it's not really even showing up. This is a very bright blue. This is a Copic marker. It's called light blue, and look how bright and pure blue that is. But we just don't have a lot of room for that. So what I need to do is put a little bit of highlight in there because it's all looking very dark at the moment. Make sure that's going to work. I think on such a small area, that's all we can do. I mean, what is this? Her eye is like just over 1 millimetre. Okay. So again, I mean, I'm not perfectly happy with the skin, but maybe having that little bit of red and purple, like I said before, just gives a kind of ethereal glow to her skin and does make her look a little bit more fantastical and fairy-like. So again, I'm just going to go over the lines that we have sent all milky with our pencils. And I think I'll do her dress now. I've missed out a little bit of skin down here. I always do something like that. I usually miss out the ears. So I'm just putting a bit of that deeper red and purple over it, and then just layering that cream. That'll do. And then the green. So the greens that we have to work with are this one here, which is like a light lime green, and I think the next one down is this one. This is more like an apple green. So these are the two colours that we have that I think will be most like Tinkerbell's dress. So I'm just looking if we've got an even darker green. Let me just test this one. That might do for our shaded areas. So we're going to have a shaded area right under her arm here, and I think we will have some shading probably down here. Such tiny areas is quite good sometimes because we don't need to do an awful lot, and it can be a very quick process, which is good about these little vignettes. So I'm just using each one of those greens that I plucked out to fill in the little spaces. now that we've done that, we can just finish that line out. I didn't want to do it before I did the dress because quite often you'll find that coloured pencil can smudge pigment liners and it's not good. So try and keep your pigment liner work until right to the end of your project. Okay. Teensy little bit more cream on that shoulder just to try and further blend that area a little bit. Obviously I've got to watch out for the pens like I just said. Okay, right, now we have got the wings. So what do I want to do with those? I want them to be iridescent, and immediately when I think of iridescent wings I think of Karen's Bee Wing paints, and I would really like to use those on this, so I think that's what I'm going to do. So let me just pop these colours back. And let's get the bee wings out. So they're in my paint drawer, which is next to me. I think they're in this one. Where are they? Yes, these are the bee wing paints here that have a slight tint of colour to them, but otherwise are sort of clear, sparkly, beautifully iridescent paints. So let's see, which colour do I want to use? Should we try a little bit of the blue and the pink? Let's get a brush. So here's the blue, I'm just going to wet it a little, and I'll wet the pink as well. I think that's violet, so let's have a bit of the violet. So blue and violet, let's get some on our brush. And just paint over the wings. Now hopefully you'll be able to see this in the light, but if not I will tilt it in a moment so that you can see. Now again, I'm being really cautious on how much water is on the brush, and I'm trying very hard not to let a lot of water come onto the page. So that's like the first coat. Let me see how that's looking for you guys. So I'll do it in a moment so that you can see it properly when I lift it up. But for now, let's just continue. Let's move on to this one, the violet. So I put a little bit of water in that. Might need to touch more water just to add to the paint to get it to melt a little bit more. Let's see. This definitely has that purplish tinge to it, whereas the top wing was blue. I'll leave a link in the description for Karen's Bee Wing paints as well, because I'm sure a lot of you will want to get your hands on them. They are stunning. They're very subtle, but you know, beautiful. So I'm just going to add a little bit more, because I think more is more in my opinion sometimes. And I can see that we've got bleed and spread coming out of the wing, so I'm just gonna be super cautious. So we've got a little bit more blue that I want to add to the top, and then I will show it to you under the light, and we can always bring those lines back in. You can see that the violet down here is actually almost completely erased the printer lines, which is interesting. The blue one hasn't done that. So I'll bring it up to camera. I don't know, like I said, whether or not you're going to be able to see this. So the paper is starting to buckle slightly, which of course it would, but I'm really trying to get the proper angle for you to see what I can see, which is a gorgeous shimmery coating of blue and violet paint. So we'll sort that bit of bleed out when we've decided what we're going to do for the background. So I'm thinking a blue background for Tinkerbell, and just having a look at what blues we've got available here. We've got a beautiful, lovely sky blue. So I'll pop that in and see how that looks. Oh my goodness, I've just realised why the lines have been bleached on that bottom wing, because I've just had a whiff of bleach and I've remembered that I filled this not with water but with Brush X, which is this stuff. I've just remembered that I've done it when I got that whiff of bleach then, and this is called an extinguishing solution for ink. So it does completely erase ink, and that's, oh my god, that's literally just clicked that I've done that. And I used this brush yesterday, didn't I? On this. Or something else, I'm sure that I did, or did I use it here? Oh my goodness, so that's why. I need to write a label on that, that is not water. So now we know why that happened. I wonder if it will allow us to put ink back on top then. Right, let's check that. I'll show you what that stuff is in a minute actually. I was going to make a video about it. Oh, it's just going to bleed. I was going to make a video about it and I just haven't got round to it yet. Gosh, that's really bleeding, look. I really have to learn my lesson with water media on this paper. That just doesn't look very good at all, does it? But I feel like I'm going to have to do the same to the top, otherwise it's going to look weird. I think we may have done some damage to this one. Yeah, I'm not really liking how the wings are looking now with that big thick black bleedy bit, and I don't think that we can cover that up because the B-wing paint is a clear paint. It just has a slight tinge of colour to it. So is it going to be white gel pen time? Let's have a look. Is there anything that I can do with this? Because it's still really wet and buckly. I just can't believe that I've used that pen, and I totally forgot that I made that into an erasing pen rather than a water pen. The only thing that alerted me to it was the smell of the bleach, because it's like a bleach solution, but for art. Oh goodness. Like I said, this is all a trial, isn't it? Trial and error. Some of these little pictures have turned out beautifully and better than I thought they would when I started them, and some of them have gone wrong, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So that's stuff I want to show you then. I might as well show you while you're here so that you know exactly what it is. So I'm just going to do a voiceover of me colouring this leaf from a Rita Berman book, and you'll notice straight away that I've gone right out of the lines of this leaf, and I'm using a Tombow marker, by the way, so it is water-based ink. Now here I go over it with that solution, and you can see straight away it changes colour, and this is in real time so that you can see how fast the erasing effect works. And remember, this is ink and it's being completely erased from the paper, so it is really, really good stuff, but it does stink, so watch yourself if you get migraines and things like that. Maybe use it in a ventilated area, but it's fantastic. Right, so we'll finish off little Tinkerbell now. I'm going to use this red violet for the little flower in her hair. And we might as well just use the same colour on her lip there. So yeah, this one has not turned out as well as I wanted it to, which is a shame because I thought it would be quite nice to do a fairy. But you know, like I said, we've experimented and it doesn't always go right. But I do absolutely adore these paints, honestly. I just can't believe that I used that solution rather than water. Anyway, what now? So yeah, I think that one's finished. I don't know if I want to add anything else to it. The wings are just not great at all. I'm just going to add a little bit more white gel pen to the eyes because I felt like they look a little bit too dark still. Maybe a couple of dots on this flower. And what else? I did say that I wasn't sure about the hair, but I think I'm just going to leave it at that for today. And I don't think there's anything really that I can do to improve these wings, so it is what it is. I hope you've enjoyed watching it anyway. and tomorrow we will be colouring a horse, so goodness knows how that's going to turn out. Well, it's actually a unicorn, so we can make it as magical as we want, and maybe we'll even try the bee-wing paints again without bleach, but with water this time. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.